Hey guys, what's going on, everybody? This is Dane from NYYU. We'd like to welcome you to the Yankees Farm Report. Los, what's good, buddy?
Hey man, just getting better, just getting better. Almost
You
there.
feel you almost back to being 100%?
Almost. Doctor told me about 6 weeks, but we'll see how it goes. The last 2 days has been a little bit rough. But like I said, a little bit of progress every day.
Well, that's good. So let's talk about some catching at the major league level. We have some, well, not just at the major league level, but from double A up. We have Augustin Ramirez, who is just absolutely tearing the cover off the ball. Looks like a legit first string catcher
hmm
beast. Ben
hmm
Rice has looked better defensively, and he's
hmm
producing offensively and making us look silly for doubting the power, mainly me. And but you have Trevino at the major league level. You have Wells, who's not getting consistent playing time, but he's not really
hmm
hitting yet to his potential. And then you got Carlos
Well, hold on.
Narvaez.
Well, hold on about Austin Wells. Austin Wells, his last 7 starts, he's hitting like 333. The last 7 starts that he's gotten. The matter is just that he's not getting consistent at bats.
Right.
The Yankees, I guess they still like Trevino. Even I don't remember where he's at. I think he's around 250, I want to say, or maybe just
Mm-hmm.
below that. Um,
No,
for
Trevino's
me,
hitting 290.
290.
Yeah.
Well, I've been out of the loop for a bit. Um, it's a good problem to have, but it's a problem that the Yankees need to address and make a decision on what is going to be the ultimate decision, right? Uh, is Trevino a long-term piece here? Is he a guy that they're gonna assign for the long term? Or is Austin Wells your foreseeable future until the next guy comes up? I mean, I still see Rice as a first baseman. That's my hope to him because I think that's the clearest path for him is there. But now you have the TJ Rumfield development at Scranton. That's a Gold Glove first baseman who's hitting. He's not showing the power that he showed last year, and I'm fine with that. I
Yeah.
think it will come, but he's making a lot more contact. I think he's hitting a little over 300 in his time there. He's looked really good. And then you have Augustine, who's just been on fire. And the crazy thing about that is, as I've mentioned before, his batted balls in play is a lot lower than what it should be, which tells you there's still some offense left in the bat. But for me, I'd put Augustine aside. He's still about a year away, in my opinion.
Right.
That leaves Rice, who's hitting really well right now. I still see him as a first baseman. I still think that's the clearest and easiest path for him to get to the majors. If he can play behind the plate, I think that's just a plus for the Yankees. But it goes back to what are the Yankees going to do as far as Trevino and Wells, and then you also have Carlos Narvaez. I thought Narvaez should have been traded, but of course he's basically an insurance policy.
Right.
Uh, I, I don't know. Me personally, I would love to see Austin Wells get more time, the majority of the bulk of the playing time, at the major league level because I want to see what he can do offensively. We already know what Trevino can do.
Right. But let's look into next year even a little bit. Rice
hmm
is an incredibly valuable bat.
hmm
And if he can catch, that's worth an absolute ton on the trade market.
hmm
Is there with TJ, with Spencer Jones, with all those other things coming in, could you see moving him?
I love my homegrown Yankees. I mean, what do the Yankees really need, or what can the Yankees really get? I mean, I see people talking about, oh, get a reliever, get a bullpen arm, but the Yankees already have the number one bullpen in terms of ERA. And
Right.
you
They
still have
do.
guys that are coming back. Kanye's, Tommy K is coming back. You have F. Ross also coming back. You
Trevino,
know,
Brubaker.
yes, Garrett Cole will be back soon, so they're gonna have to make a decision as far as the rotation. So what exactly are you looking for? I mean, a third baseman, really? A third baseman might be a nice get. Like I said, I've been out of it as far as the Yankees because I've been so sick. Um, I know Cabrera has been up and down as of late, but he's still been solid all season long. Is your long-term idea for him to be a utility player who could play third, short, second base, um, and go after that third baseman? Is that an option? Is that what what should the real get at the trade deadline should be?
I think
Because
the real get,
I've always said that the Yankees should have no business trading for relievers. They pump them out.
no, no.
And Birdie's coming back soon anyways too, as well.
I think there's two needs. They need a left-hand bullpen arm that strikes guys out. Caleb
Hmm.
Ferguson has not been that guy that he was in LA last year. And if you look in the farm system, they really do not have a left-hand reliever with strikeout stuff.
You have your boy
Well,
Barkley.
yeah, that's not quite strikeout stuff, but you know what I mean.
He's doing it. He's doing it though.
He is. And the other thing would be a third baseman, and maybe
Hmm.
not a long-term third baseman. If
Hmm.
the Astros are out of it, do you
Hmm.
call about Alex Bregman?
First of all, I loathe the Astros. I mean, they're just a notch below Boston for me right now. Uh, I mean, will Yankees fans even accept that? Do they want that? I mean, of course, they don't really have a say in the matter, but they can make a player's life miserable. I mean, Bregman could be a fit. He could be a fit. I don't know if I would make that move. I'm averse to making trading prospects. It's it's definitely would be on the want list for the Yankees right now. Is a solid third baseman they can pencil in every day. Um, yeah, I think that's what you would be looking at. You look at third baseman, maybe even a lefty reliever. Um, yeah, yeah, that's probably what I would be
Okay.
looking at.
All right. So, what we wanted to do today was go through our top 20 from the beginning of the year, kind of give everyone updates on what they're doing, how they're looking,
Hmm.
what we can expect from them for the rest of the year.
Hmm.
Obviously, at number one, we have your boy, Jason Dominguez. We heard he's
Hmm.
coming back within 2 weeks to start a
Right,
rehab assignment.
correct.
Um, what do you see happening with him for the rest of the year? Alex Verdugo's playing, and
I've read, yeah, I've read that it's going to be DHing. I hope that rehab starts while they're down here in West Palm Beach. That means I can go see him.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, that's another dilemma the Yankees are going to have on their hands is where exactly you're going to get those at bats for him because I'm just telling you right now, the Yankees are not going to call him up to play him part time, to start him
no.
two, 3 times a week. The Yankees are not going to do that. For that, you leave him at Scranton and let him get at bats every day and let him keep working, let him get hot because once he gets hot, he's locked in. It might be a little bit rough in the beginning because he is a notoriously slow starter. So for me, I would not be surprised if we don't see him immediately, early June or mid-June. If I don't see him, I'm not going to be going crazy about it unless he's going crazy down in the minors. But those at bats are going to have to come from somewhere. And right now, who's the guy that you're looking at, right? You're probably looking at Stanton. You're
You
probably
kind of
looking at
have
Stanton
to
because
look at
Verdugo's playing his ass off right now.
right. You kind of have to look at Stanton and go,
Hmm.
you're not really producing. You've hit under 200 for the last 2 years straight.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, he's showing some power, but he's so slow and they're hitting into so many double plays. I think that's where Jason Dominguez's
Hmm.
value would be to break up Judge and Rizzo
Yeah, he
and
gives you a lot more
even
versatility.
yeah, I don't know. I'm excited for Jason. I hope that he's up at the major league level, but if he's not, I want him
Hmm.
playing every day in double A or triple A. That's just what
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah, he absolutely has to be playing every day, whether it's in the Bronx or down at Scranton or Somerset, wherever it may be. He has to be playing every single day. He needs those at bats. He needs to try to make up for as much of this lost playing time as he can because every day he's not playing is every day he's not getting experience.
Now at number two, we have my guy, Spencer Jones. But
Hmm.
Spencer is struggling right now.
Right. Yeah. Right now, Spencer Jones is hitting 250. His on base percentage is at 311. 2 home runs, 9 RBIs. The walk rate is just 8%. The strikeout rate is at 32%. And he's just entered his first slump of the season. I'm not too concerned about it. It doesn't look pretty. He's won for his last 22, which means he's hitting .045. And the strikeout rate is over 52%, which is wild.
Ooh,
But again, I'm not too concerned about it. It's very early. He just came back from an injury like what 4 weeks ago, something like that.
yeah.
Um, there's gonna be growing pains. You're gonna have up and downs. I know that what we saw in spring training of Spencer was wild. It was crazy, and we were all excited about it. But as you and I both have said, that's cool that he's doing all that, but we need to see him doing that at Somerset. And
Yeah.
these kind of pains a lot of Yankee fans are going to experience if you're going to keep an eye on him.
I think it's a good thing that he's struggling. You want to see a player go through adversity. We saw it last year with Jason Dominguez at the same level
Hmm.
last year. I think that Spencer will come out of it. What
Hmm.
happens to him this year is the bigger question. I really don't see a way for him to get to the Bronx unless something goes drastically wrong. And even then, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I've said that all year long. I don't think we're going to see Spencer Jones this year. If we do, something has gone incredibly wrong this year. There's going to be lots of injuries. I just don't see how Spencer Jones was going to get to the major league level, especially when he had Pereira right in front of him, Jason Dominguez, Grisham, Verdugo, and then well, Stanton, Soto, and Judge out there. So he has a long way to go and a lot of obstacles being other players that are in front of him in the depth chart. So I didn't think we were going to see him this year, no matter what. Um, it's just what it is. Yankee fans are going to have to be a little bit more patient as far as Spencer Jones.
Do you see them possibly moving him in any way?
I wouldn't, definitely not. He's a freak athlete. I definitely would not be wanting to move him. I know a lot of people would say, "Hey, trade him for this or that," but at the end of the day, as I've said before, I mean, the Yankees' only real need, in my opinion, is a third baseman. They don't need help in the bullpen. They don't need help in the rotation. They have one of the best rotations, and that's without Garrett Cole.
Yeah, I agree. I wouldn't move him. You got to make sure that Juan Soto resigns because if somehow you lose him and you've
Yeah, that's a
traded
problem.
Spencer, that's a problem.
Yeah,
Now,
the fan base would go absolutely apeshit if that was to happen.
yeah. So at number three, we had Chase Hampton. Chase has been hurt to this point. We got some good news
Hmm.
on him this week. Actually, some really
Hmm.
good news after
Hmm.
they scared the crap out of us when they moved him to the 60-day IL.
Hmm.
But, he's back to throwing. He'll be on
Hmm.
a mound in a couple weeks.
Hmm.
That's about the only update we can really give on Chase.
Yeah, and I think it's a good update. The moving him to the 60-day IL was retroactive, so it was just a little bit of a scare. We all thought, damn it, he's done for the season, which would have sucked tremendously. But it was good news when we heard that he was throwing.
At number four, we have our current major league backup catcher, Austin Wells.
Hmm.
Boy, he's hitting the ball hard. As we talked about a little earlier, he's starting to hit for a little
Hmm.
bit better average, but his batting average and balls in play has been crap all year.
Yeah,
Um,
he's having bad luck right now. A lot of Yankee fans don't understand that the batted balls in play statistic. But yeah, he's having bad luck. He's not getting consistent at bats. This is a guy that was probably the star on every team he's ever played on, and now he's having to take a back seat. It's a hell of a change in a player's in the way he goes about his business. Um, Yankee fans are just gonna have to be patient. When he has gotten his starts, like I said, over the last seven starts that he had, I think he was hitting 333, if I'm not mistaken, on base over 400 as well. In my ADD is clicking right now to that moment where he lined the ball over to second baseman and Stanton was gunned down at second base. This it which just goes to the terrible luck that he's having right now.
yeah. Now, going to number five, we have Roderick Arias, and there's some concern about Roderick. Um,
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely not what you want to see, but at the end of the day, he's still 19 years old. He's learning.
yeah.
Right now he's hitting 188, 8 extra base hits, so he's one of the leaders as far as that on that team. 2 home runs, 10 RBIs. The walk rate is good at 15.6%. The strikeout rate is almost 39%, not good. I
Oh,
think he's four for his last 29. I mean, but the walks are we're starting to see an uptick in the walks, which is good, but the strikeouts haven't stabilized themselves yet. So it's something that I want to see from him is a lot more contact and a lot less ground balls. I know he's hitting a lot of ground balls right now. I was reading that he had about a 21% whiff rate in the zone, which is something else you don't want to see. Um, But like I said, there's going to be growing pains, right? He's still
Yeah.
learning. It's his first time in the affiliate league. He's got what, a month there now. The competition is a lot better. I know he's also got, I want to say 10 errors as well.
Oh,
Not what you want to see, but I keep thinking back and I keep telling Yankee fans, yes, it's not what you want to see, but remember, Derek Jeter had a season where he had 52 errors.
he did.
Not saying that Roderick is going to be Jeter, but just saying patience.
Patience. And I agree with that. I think the talent and tools are still elite.
Hmm.
You just need to give him time to develop. He was missed a lot of time his first 2 years because of the
Hmm.
hand injuries. I think he'll be fine. I'm not worried
Yeah.
about it yet.
And like I said before, he's an elite prospect. Elite prospects are supposed to run into these issues and figure out how to get around it and improve. That's just what it is. If he's the elite prospect that we all think he is, he'll eventually come out get through this.
And one other thing, he's working on two swings where everybody or
Yes.
most everyone else is working on one. It's going to take
Hmm.
him longer. So let's
Hmm.
just be patient with him and he'll be fine. Now, our number 6 prospect to begin the year was Will Warren.
Hmm.
Will got off to a little bit of a tough start, pitched
Hmm.
really well for about 4 starts, kind of got roughed up last night.
Hmm.
What do you see from him?
I didn't see last night's game, but I know he did get roughed up. But up until that, discounting that game just because of the numbers that I had written down, he had a 2.95 ERA, which is not where you expected him, especially after the way he got off. He's still 3-0 with a 1.06 WHIP, 27 innings. He's strikeout rate of over 29%, 81% left on base, 46% ground ball rate. Hitters are hitting 202 against him, and over the last 3 games, not counting last night. He was 2-0 with a 1.50 ERA, 18 innings, just 2 walks and 20 strikeouts. So he was trending in the
Wow.
right direction. I didn't get to see last night's game, so I don't know how he looked last night. I heard his command was not that great.
You're going to have those nights where the command's
Absolutely, yeah.
just off. He's shown elite strikeout stuff. He's shown everything that we wanted him to in that 4 or 5 game stretch. I
Hmm.
think he'll be just fine. I don't know what his role or when he'll get up to the major leagues is, though, because you got Garrett Cole coming back. You have Luis
Yeah.
Hill, who's looking amazing in the rotation.
Hmm.
It's hard to see him getting into the rotation, but maybe a bullpen spot.
I mean, even that the pitching has been so good for the Yankees that even that is up in the air.
Yeah, I would agree.
But there'll be injuries, so there'll be opportunities.
Yeah. Number 7, George Lombard. He's been hurt.
Yeah, George Lombard is on the 7-day IL. He's missed, I want to say, the last maybe 2 weeks or so.
Uh-huh.
But he hasn't gotten off to a great start. He's right now he's hitting 237, and that's because he got really hot right before he got hurt. He's hitting 237 with a 438 on base percentage. That is one thing that he has done at an exceptional rate is walking. He
Yes.
has 2 extra base hits, which again came as of late. 25% walk rate, 23% strikeout rate. Like I said, he's currently on the IL. Over the last 12 games, he was hitting 277 with a 21% walk rate, 23% strikeout rate. So it's almost a 1-to-1. He's making a lot of contact now, which he wasn't during the first several weeks of the season.
Yeah.
But he was starting to right the ship right until he got injured.
I've been impressed with the walking, the on base
Hmm.
skills, the plate discipline, but it's still so early. I was surprised to see Baseball America moved him in their top 100 already based
Yeah.
on such a small sample, but good for him.
Hmm.
Number 8, Henry Lalane. You want to give us
Hmm.
the update?
He's gonna be on the IL. I don't know if it's been officially lost with the Yankees. I didn't see anything for it. Last I spoke to him, he said he basically dodged a bullet. He said he'll be throwing later on this week. My opinion, he's probably maybe 4 weeks out, I would say, because I have to imagine they'll take it slow with him.
Yeah. They're not going to rush him in any
Yeah,
way.
no.
They're not going to let him throw enough innings where missing 3 or 4 weeks is really going
Well,
to matter.
I don't think it's a matter of innings. I think it's a matter of getting him back on the mound.
Right.
They'll probably start him on the flat surface first and go from there. But like I said, he told me that by the end of the week he'll be throwing again. That's what I imagine. I don't know how many throws, it'll be like 10, 20 throws, something crazy like that, something funny like that, and they'll just
Yeah.
go from there.
Now, moving on to number nine, it's our boy Brock. And
Hmm.
oh my goodness, has he been impressive?
Yeah, Brock has looked really good. Uh, he's pitched to a 1.73 ERA. I think that's second in the organization, I want to say. I believe it's second
Mm-hmm.
in the organization as far as starting pitching. Over 26 innings. He struck out 28 batters, nine walks. That's about a 26% strikeout rate. He's keeping the walks down, only nine walks. Hasn't allowed more than two earned runs in any start over the last three starts. He's 2-0 with a 0.53 ERA. That's 17 innings, 17 strikeouts with a 140 average against. He's just absolutely amazing. I'm really a big fan of Brock. And keep in mind, he's 21 years old at Double A.
Yeah. Would he be your number one pitching prospect right now for the Yankees?
My Rolodex is going, thinking who else is out there. Yeah, probably. I would probably say between him and Vreeling, but I think Brock has been more consistent. And I think the last two, I know Brock is going tonight. But the last two of Reading starts. I'm sorry, Reading goes tonight. His last two starts, I think he got hit pretty hard. But I would say Brock is probably the top guy right now.
Okay. I would too. There he has been phenomenal. Every outing
Hmm.
that he's had, he's had struggles in a couple early innings, but he's gotten through it no matter what the
Hmm.
situation.
The funny thing about that, when you say that, is the funny thing about that is when he's got into trouble in those early innings, it's usually because the defense, an error
Mm-hmm.
here, a miff ball there, a ground ball drop there, and next thing you know, he's on the ropes. And those are things that you want to see, especially in a young pitcher, right? You want to see
Right.
him be able to get off of those ropes. And I think in one game, I forgot who it was against. I want to say against New Hampshire. Brock had bases in the second inning. Brock had bases loaded, no outs, and he ended up getting out of
Yep.
that inning with a ground ball or a strikeout and then a ground ball for a double play, which absolutely phenomenal work by him.
Yeah. He's showing maturity that is well beyond his 21 years. He looks
Hmm.
like he is
Hmm.
much older, like he's been here before and done it before.
Hmm.
I'm I think he's going to be a huge piece for us going forward, and I'm so excited for him.
Yeah, I'm definitely impressed by him. Even when he didn't have his best stuff, I think in his last start, he didn't have his best stuff because I think he only got like two strikeouts, but he still threw, I think it was four shutout innings in that game.
Yeah, and the start before when he did have his best stuff, he had 11 strikeouts. Or was it
Hmm.
12? 11 or 12.
I
It
think it
was
was
just
11 strikeouts.
11, yeah. Just unbelievable
And that
performance
was a
by
one hitter
him.
he threw.
Yeah, I
Hmm.
no he's not supposed to be doing this at Double A at 21 years old. He's just
Hmm.
not. And the Yankees have a special one on their hands there. Now,
Hmm.
number 10, we had Louis Hill.
Hmm.
And wow, has he looked good in the MLB rotation?
Yeah. Yeah, he's definitely impressed me. He's pitched better than I expected. I know he's had some command issues, but the funny thing about the command issue is that he's found a way to still get around, right? Even when he gives up five or six walks, he still manages to leave a game by just giving up one run, which is absolutely phenomenal work by him.
He's gone toe to toe with the Baltimore pit, Corbin Burns, and he won that
Mm-mm.
matchup last night. It was
Mm-hmm.
Verlander. He outpitched Verlander. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
he's not showing that there's any moment that he's scared of. Like
Right.
he's unfazed. And he's got the lowest ERA of any of our starting pitchers in the rotation right now. It's just I don't know what you do with him when Cole comes back. Do you leave him in the rotation?
I was just about to ask you that. What do you
Yeah,
think?
I hate it, but I think you have to put him back in the bullpen.
Mm.
You?
I mean, I've said all season long, I know Matt Blake has said that there's no cap on him. I think that I don't believe that. I don't buy that.
Me
I
either.
know he's on pace right now for I think it was like 150 innings. I just can't see the Yankees allowing him to go for that many innings coming off of Tommy John.
I can't either. He's at 37 innings right now. I think that they let him get to about 80.
Hmm. And
And
then dial it
then,
back.
yeah, that's my
Was
honest
is
thought.
there any way that you could see the Yankees going to like a six-man rotation?
Yeah, I could see that with them wanting to keep his innings down, keep other
But
arms
would Cole
fresh.
allow that? Because Cole is very much about his routine.
That's true. Maybe keep everybody else on a 6 day and Cole on a 5 day. I don't know. It's a great problem to have, but
Hmm.
I keep going back for heel that you remember K Rod when he came up with the
Of
Angels and
course,
like two,
yeah.
yeah. I think
Hmm.
that Louis could be that guy this year and then work himself back in the rotation next year. He's got top of the rotation stuff. Now that that changeup
Hmm.
has become a legitimate plus pitch, he's got
Hmm.
3 plus pitches. Guys don't square him up very often. He doesn't give up a lot of hits. That's a mix for a top of the rotation arm.
Hmm.
If the command gets better, he may be a ace someday. I
Yeah.
mean,
If
he's
if
got
the
that.
command gets better, he's definitely a frontline starter.
Yeah. So at number 11, we have our boy, a goose, and he has just absolutely torn the cover off the ball to start. He's got 10 home runs. I think he's leading double A in home runs, or
I
at
think he's
least the
leading home runs, and
Yankee.
I think he's leading in home runs and in RBIs. The last I looked, his OPS is up over 1,000. He's 1-to-1 strikeout to walk, which you definitely want to see that in a power hitter, or you don't see that every day in a power hitter.
No, that's crazy.
184 WRC plus, absolutely, yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's a few things that I noticed from because I know last year a lot of people have asked me, well, what changed? Because last year, he struggled in the Eastern, and I said, yeah, absolutely. I think he would even tell you that he struggled. Um, I saw an interview from him where he said that he worked on his launch angle. But I mean, I'm looking at other things. For example, his walk rate last year at Somerset was 7.2, and now it's almost 19%. He's hitting a lot less ground balls, a lot less fly balls as well. He's hitting a lot more line drives. He's ball less. He's going oppo, he's going up the middle as well. So he's spraying the ball. Um, and it's boding well for him. And as I said earlier, his batted balls and plays, I think it was about 60 points lower than what his average is usually about. So, he's still got a lot more damage that he could be possibly doing.
That's insane. But going back to your point, I think he was hitting 273 and his batting average and balls in play was like 213, 215,
Mm-hmm.
something like that.
Mm-hmm.
That at least it was that last week when I saw it. So there's more offense in that bat. And we saw last night he got on base 5 times. He had a
Mm-hmm.
homer, a double, a single, and 2 walks. He was 3 for 3. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
he's kind of like the catcher version of Brock. He's just the superlatives don't end for him, and he's just on pace to be a monster.
Mm-hmm.
I
He's
do you
definitely playing like
think
it, yeah.
do you think there's any chance we see him this year?
No, none.
Yeah,
Because he still has to work on his defense. As good as his offense is, he still needs to work on his defense.
yeah, I agree. Now, number 12, we had Clayton Beater, and Clayton has been very good as well. And that
Mm-hmm.
as a starter, he has looked
Mm-hmm.
good.
I know you
He's
doubt
used,
him.
I do, but
You keep doubting him. He just keeps putting numbers up.
hey, I'll look silly. I've done it. I've looked silly a
Mm-hmm.
lot before, and I'll keep looking
Mm-hmm.
silly. I'll be happy about it. But
Mm-hmm.
he's throwing the curveball a little bit more, throwing the changeup a little bit more. It's not what I would call a true,
The pitch
starter's
package.
pitchman. Yeah,
Mhm.
but he's
But
making
he's
it
getting it done.
work.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
he's a viable major league starter.
I mean, he's definitely looking like it. What he's 3-1 with a 2.74 ERA in AAA, which you already know ERAs is supposed to be sky high in this league. 23 innings, 35 strikeouts. Um, in five of his starts, he hasn't allowed in five of his starts, he pitched five Jesus Christ. In five of his starts, three of them were shutouts. And I noticed that he has this weird pattern where he pitches the game where he gives up 4 walks, and then in the next game he gives up no walks.
Right. He's just looked unbelievably good. And I don't know how you put him in the bullpen when he's looked this good. as a starter.
I mean, for Beater, there's no room for him, right? So you have to go the Phil Hughes route, right? Which is basically put him in the bullpen, maybe the back of the bullpen. He's striking a lot of guys. He's striking out, what is he? I think 36%.
Yeah,
Put him in the back of the bullpen and try to get 3-4 outs out of him.
that works. Now, number 13, we have a guy that I have never been sure about, but he's
Hmm.
making me look silly too, and that's Ben Rice.
Mm.
Wow, is he hitting the ball well?
Yeah, he's on fire right now. On the season, he's hitting 277, 404 on base percentage, 10 extra base hits, 7 home runs, uh, walk rate of 15%, strikeout rate of 23%. Over his last 8 games, he's hitting 370, 2 home runs, 3 RBIs. Yeah, he's 1-to-1 strikeout to walk in that time frame. And going back even further, his last 16 games, he's hitting 345. The guy's just absolutely on fire right now.
Yeah, he's legit. Everything that we saw last year looks like it was real.
Hmm.
Um, and he's doing it from the catcher position, like we talked about earlier. That's a lot of value in that kind of bat behind the plate. And his defense
Hmm.
looks better than it did last year as well. So,
Hmm.
I mean, it's a wonderful problem for the Yankees to have. But whew. Now, number 14, we have Brando Maea. And I know that
Hmm.
they started the FCL last week. He's a week
Hmm.
behind.
Hmm.
You spoke with him last week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He basically told me that he'll be practicing later this week, and he expected to get into the game this weekend, so probably Saturday. If the Yankees agree with him, that's a different story. But his expectation is that he would be ready to go Friday or Saturday, or
Right.
debut on Friday or Saturday.
I'm looking forward to it. Uh, so many good things about him. It'll be nice to
Hmm.
see what he does stateside. That's always, you see those good numbers in the DSL, and you always want to see what they do stateside. I think he's
Yeah,
going to come over and perform. I'm just looking
yeah, I have high
forward to
expectations
see.
for him.
Yeah, so do
Hmm.
I. Now, number 15, Everson Pereira.
Hmm.
He's another one that's on a heater.
Yeah, right now he's really high. He hit game-winning home run today, 2-run shot on the season. Well, prior to he was hitting 263. Uh, his ninth home run today. Um, the thing about him, man, is that strikeout rate is about 37%. But over his last 15 games, he is hitting 300, 4 home runs, 13 RBIs. I mean, he is producing, and unfortunately, this is just the nature of the beast, right? Where he's gonna hit, but he's also gonna strike out. And as I said before, this isn't a guy that you can have him play today, play tomorrow, then sit for the next 3 or 4 days. You got to give him at bats every day because when they come, they will come in bunches,
Yeah. Well, we saw it 2 years ago when he hit 20 home runs in less than 200 at bats. He can
right?
just put up numbers in bunches, but he's not someone who you can sit and be a fourth
No,
outfielder type. The
no.
best
I
thing
mean,
for him, the best thing for him is to sit in AAA and rebuild his value because unfortunately, he's probably going to end up on another team at some point.
I mean, Yankee fans are just gonna have to live with it. That he's a bit of a streaky hitter, you know. And some Yankee fans might remember John Stark, and that was just some of the things you had to live with when it came to him. You know, some
Yep,
nights he would hit 5, 6 threes, and some nights he would go for 15.
he would. I preferred Allen Houston, but that's just me. Anyway, Carlos Legrand is our number 16 prospect.
Yeah, same thing as Delane. It's not an arm injury, just so you don't have to worry about that. He is already throwing, so I expect him to be back within a couple weeks or to debut in a couple weeks.
I'm excited that that kid's got all the arm talent you could ever want. So we'll
Hmm.
see. Looking forward to it. Now, number 17 is a kid that we just saw get his first hit, Francisco Valario.
Hmm.
And he hit the first pitch that he saw and just absolutely nuked it.
Yeah, barreled it beautifully. I mean, there's not much to go on. There's going DSLs right now is in spring training. Their season starts on June 3rd. Starts on
Right.
June 3rd, so it's a few more weeks until their season starts. But I'm excited for Francisco.
He looks good in the videos that you've posted so far.
Hmm. You know what's funny is that I watched the spring training games. Um, there was no lineup card or nothing like that. I went into the video and I just started speeding through it. And I stopped at the first guy and I was like, that guy looks like a freaking major leaguer right now. That has to be him. And when he turned a little bit, I saw the 42 on his back and I was like, yep, that's him.
Yeah,
He just looks the part.
he does. He's got the build, he's got the tools, he's got the athleticism. Uh, we talked when we first talked about him signing that the scouts said that he went through a massive development spurt right before his 16th birthday and
Hmm.
that the Yankees got a steal for what they paid for him.
Yeah, I mean
So,
at the time they signed him, he was what, I think 6'4", I want to say 240, 250, something like that. I mean, built like
yeah,
a friggin' a linebacker.
yeah. And he's got good speed. He's just got
Good
all the
speed, his center
tools.
fielder.
Yeah. Now, number 18, we had Jorbit Vivas, and he's been
Mm.
hurt all year.
Hmm.
He came back for one game. Do you have any updates on him?
Just saw him for 2 games this year. I think he got one hit in like 7 at bats or something like that. But there's not really much. There's no updates on him. There wasn't even an update as to why he was put back on the IL. Just that he was.
Okay. Number 19, we have your boy Jared Cerna.
Jared
Started
Serna right now
off,
is on fire.
yeah, he started off a little slow, but boy,
He
is he
did.
coming around the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, and I know when I saw him down at Tampa, he told me he was having a shoulder issue. I didn't really get into what the issue was, but he did mention he had a shoulder injury. He had mentioned that he had been lifting a lot more weights in the offseason. I mean, right now he's hitting 244, 355 on base percentage, 13 extra base hits, 5 home runs, 19 RBIs, 14.5% walk rate, 11% K rate. Back to the old
Wow.
Jared, right? Where he's walking more than he's striking out.
Yeah.
Over his last 40 at bats, he's hitting 375 with an 1157 OPS, 8 extra base hits, 3 home runs, 12 RBIs. Just on fire. At this point last season, he was walking at about a 7%, or I'm sorry, when he was at Hudson Valley, he was walking at a 7% clip. He's almost 15% right now.
He looks good. I mean, there's nothing else you can say about him. And those 3 home runs all came in one game. I mean,
Hmm.
he just absolutely tore the cover off the ball that game. And we've always talked about Jared. He's always going to hit, and he's always going to
Hmm.
be one of those guys who makes a difference no matter where you play him.
Yeah, and he's also one of those guys like Wells that his batted balls in play is low. For him, it's about 100 points lower than where it normally is.
Wow. So he's got a lot more in the bat as well.
Hmm.
And finally, at number 20, we have Kyle Carr. And oof,
It's I question if maybe they should have started him at Tampa, because he's struggled. I mean, I think anybody who has watched him can just flat out say, he's struggling. He's got a 5.89 ERA. The whip is over 2, 18 innings, just 12 strikeouts, 16 walks. He's walking batters at about 17% clip. Uh, you're walking guys, you're not missing bats. They're hitting almost 300 against him. It's a recipe for disaster. And as long as he continues to have these command issues, if he doesn't right that ship, you're going to continue to get these same type of results. Like I said,
yeah.
he just made his debut. It's early. There's still plenty of time for him to try to figure this out. He's only 5 games into his career. I don't think we should be looking too much into it, but um, it's not what you expected out of all the buzz that we were hearing.
Right. I wouldn't be surprised if he got swapped for Cade Smith.
Mm.
Let Cade go up and he's pitched so well and let Kyle go back down to low A and see if he can't figure some things out.
Hmm. I mean, at this point though, just 5 games into it, I think it'd be a little too soon to send Kyle back down. I mean, you have to take into account what it can do to the mental aspect of his game. I would give him a little bit more rope to try to figure it out.
See, this is why we complement each other well. I'm a little too reactionary, you're a little cautious. It works out well.
Yeah, let's
Now,
let's let's give him a little bit more room.
okay. So, what else do we have coming this next week? You got videos dropping. I know you have some exciting videos that some kid sent you.
I got some FCL stuff. Uh, Valario sent me some video as well. I'll be dropping that soon. And just continue to work. Continue to put in the work. As I get better, I'm just dropping more and more videos. That's basically it. Keep pumping out these videos.
All right. Los, it's great doing this with you. Guys, make sure to
Absolutely.
hit that like
Guys,
and subscribe on the way out. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you guys later.
later, guys.